Howdy, y'all. It is me, JSoldierPro, once again. Y'all, today it is time to react to the Wave 5 teaser trailer from today's Nintendo Direct. And as it turns out, I've decided to make this an analysis style video instead of a reaction style video. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and let's get into the brand new characters. The very first character is none other than Piranha, which was first playable in Mario Kart Double Dash and has not appeared since in the Mario Kart series until now. Honestly, I'm very happy that Piranha has been added. I never have played Double Dash before, so I've never been able to play as him when I've done Mario Kart, and now I'll be able to. I could see myself playing as Piranha once in a while because he seems cool. He seems like a cool guy. So you know what? Yeah, I'm happy that he's been added. Next up is Wiggler, who is playable in Mario Kart 7, and this is the character I am the most hyped for personally out of the three. I adore Wiggler. Wiggler is one of my all-time favorite Mario characters, as it turns out, so I could very easily see myself playing as Wiggler a ton online. Extremely happy that he has finally been added. And the final character to be added is none other than Kamikaze, who is playable in Mario Kart Tour, but as it turns out, he was originally going to be playable in Mario Kart 64. A lot of people don't know this, but Mario Kart 64 during development was known as Super Mario Kart R, and sure enough, if we look at the character menu screen, we can see Kamek instead Donkey Kong. However, Kamek was scrapped in the final game, replaced by Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong has been a staple of the series ever since, and Kamek never saw the light of day again until Tour and now. As far as how excited I am about Kamek, not particularly. Don't get me wrong, he's a cool character. I think he's really interesting, but as far as being a playable Mario Kart character, I don't really care that much. He's cool, but I much prefer Piranha and Wiggler. Okay, that's enough talk about the characters. Let's now move on to the big attraction, the brand new track, Squeaky Clean Sprint. The only track in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that I can really compare this track to is GBA Ribbon Road, which of course was completely overhauled in Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. GBA Ribbon Road takes place in a child's bedroom, and the entire track is made out of ribbon and children's toys, which you can see all across the track, leading to a really immersive experience that you don't really get in many Mario Kart tracks. Squeaky Clean Sprint, however, appears to have defied the odds, as I would say its level of immersion is actually on par with GBA Ribbon Road. You genuinely feel like you are racing inside of a real-life bathroom, and I absolutely adore that. There's all kinds of details all throughout this track, and I'm going to be breaking that down. But first and foremost, I'm going to predict the track layout based on everything that I have available to me, screenshots and video. Let's go ahead and let's do this. Naturally, a good place to start any track layout prediction is going to be where the starting line is. And luckily for us, we are shown where the starting line is multiple times. Out of everything available to us, this single image gives us the best perspective of the starting area of the track, and so we'll be using this first and foremost. You start the race at the starting line, and you immediately afterward are plunged into the sink, which is filled with water. Immediately afterward, you are going to trick off of this first ramp, which is going to give you your first set of item boxes. You then are going to take a left, which we unfortunately don't get to see, and then immediately afterward, you are then going to trick off of another ramp, and this is going to take you into the shower. You can also trick off the ramp and then land on the sponge bridge, which you can see Bowser and Kamek doing right here. Whether you decide to ride the sponge bridge or not, you will eventually have to land on the shower floor, after which point you will have to go down the drain. After going down the drain, players will have to go through the underwater pipe section. And as it turns out, this is one of the areas that we get to see of the least, only having this screenshot and this video to go by. Once players are done with the underwater pipe section, they will exit through a pipe exit, and then they will land on the bathroom floor. After this, players will then have to take a left turn, and they can go on an optional additional half pipe and get some more item boxes if they choose to do so. Following that turn and the optional half pipe, players will then have to go onto a brief straightaway, which we unfortunately don't get to see, and that is followed immediately afterward by a glider ramp, which will take players over the toilet. Following this glider ramp is this shelf, and this is actually a pretty interesting part of the track because at this point the route diverges into two parts, the bottom shelf and the top shelf. If the player doesn't do anything special during the toilet glider section, the player will land on the bottom shelf and then will have to navigate inside the shelf, which we unfortunately don't get to see until they navigate outside of it, and then they can simply drive to the finish line completing a lap. If the player is lucky and they wish to take advantage of it, there may just be a water geyser coming out of the toilet when they go through the toilet glider section. I'm going to assume that this water geyser works the exact same as the sand geyser that can be found on bone dry dunes, and the way that that works for anyone that doesn't know is that the sand geyser will periodically come out of the sand, come way up into the sky, and anybody who treks off it will get a height boost, and then they'll be able to take a higher route that they otherwise would be unable to access. Once a player lands on the top shelf, they will have to go around this little hole, making sure not to fall in it, and then they will be presented with this glider ramp from which they can choose to either go onto the main route and then just finish a lap like normal, or they can finish a lap and then they can go onto a side route, which I critically did not mention in the beginning. If the player decides to take the side route, they can expect to see a set of item boxes with a total of 3 double item boxes included in it, along with a boost panel, and then a ramp which will lead players to a mushroom pad, which will then lead players into the shower section of the track, thereby making them rejoin the main route once again. Ooh boy, that was a crazy section. Yeah, I did not anticipate for it to take that long, but anyways, we got done with it. Now, I want to end off the video with my personal favorite part, the little minor details. I'm not going to go over every minor detail because, well, this video would be like an hour probably if I did, but I'm going to go over the major things which really stood out to me and that I quite like, so let's do this. The first detail I want to point out is actually the design of the wall all throughout the bathroom. This is actually the sky from Super Mario Brothers on the NES, and I love this so much I kind of wish my bathroom had this wall design. This looks cool. The next little detail that caught my attention is the leaking faucet. So the faucet is pretty interesting to me because there's a little drop of water that's forming just coming out of it, and then you can actually see in the water that there's a little bit of a ripple, which implies that a drop of water just hit it. And this is particularly interesting because this is probably going to be an underwater section which you go through. So this makes me wonder if this is purely visual, aesthetic, or if this actually will impact gameplay somehow. Could be interesting. The next detail that caught my attention is haircut and shave, Toad Barber, established 1985. Now, this wouldn't be too interesting if it wasn't for the year that's specified. As it turns out, that is the year that Super Mario Brothers on the NES released, which of course is when Toad was first introduced to the Mario series, where he gets to tell you that your princess is in another castle 7 different times. Something else that caught my attention is the little Goomba that is just having a very, very relaxing time on his little float. This is actually an enemy that you can encounter in Super Mario 3D World, but you also can find these guys on Tour Singapore Speedway when you go up onto the skyscraper, which I thought was cool. The next thing I want to point out is Dino Outdoor and Camping Goods. You can see this several times on the track, and this, of course, is referencing Dino Jungle, which is a track that we could potentially see in the future in the Booster Course Pass. Is this a sign that we'll get it, or is this just false hope for Dino Jungle fans? I guess time will tell. The final detail I want to point out is easily my favorite in the entire track. I don't know whether or not this is intentional. I don't know if I'm thinking too deeply into this, but regardless, let's do this. So this luggage is fascinating to me. One, I don't know why someone's keeping their luggage in their bathroom, but hey, it's none of my business. Anyways, there's Sunshine Airport, there is Galaxy Air, and there's a dolphin all on this luggage. Why does this matter? Well, when I think of of dolphin, and I think of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I naturally think of the track themed around dolphins, Dolphin Shoals. As it turns out though, Sunshine Airport has flights that will take you to different tracks, which are flown by different airlines. One of these happens to be Galaxy Air, and as it turns out, there's a flight from Sunshine Airport to Dolphin Shoals that is flown by Galaxy Air. I don't know if this was intentional or not, but based on all this, we can conclude that this person is packing up and they're going to Dolphin Shoals for vacation. Hope they enjoy their trip. Anyways, that's all I got for this video, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Let me know if y'all enjoyed this analysis style video in the comments. And also let me know what you're looking forward to most in this wave. Personally, I'm looking most forward to the brand new track, Squeaky Clean Sprint. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Have a great day, and I hope to see y'all next time. Alright, bye!